We're back at you with gloves off, and today we have a great guest. We have Judge Jose Pepe Salinas, and we're going to talk a little bit about his court, truancy, kick punch in the old days. We're just going to have a good old time. If you guys want to download the app, it's over on Border Indie, and you can get that on your Google Play Store and also in Apple. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them in, and we can answer them as we go. How are we doing today, Judge? You doing good?
Doing great, Paul. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to your show.
No, thank you for the job that you're doing. Okay, and that's number one. And we have there's a lot of issues with that side of the court we'll talk about, and want you to elaborate a little bit and tell us, how did you get involved with the county? And
well, Paul, I started my career in law enforcement. Since 1979, I've been, in law enforcement. I was a correctional officer. I became a peace officer during the time. By the time I made the move to run for Justice of the Peace, I had already served the county for 30 years in the Sheriff's Department. And, through my time that I was there, I noticed a lot of people coming in the correction and the jail environment. And during that time, I was an administrator, and of course, I implemented some programs there for the jail, like the GED program, and some of the programs to help out the inmates once they get out of the jail environment. And it was very successful. We were able to get some people to get their GEDs during the time they were there incarcerated. So it was all good, and of course, deep inside, I always thought that, at one time I wanted to help the youth of Laredo in an earlier stage, and not wait until they come to the jail and start trying to help them out. So I had that in the back of my mind, and when the time was right, and the judge from JP4 retired, there was an opening there in that slot there for JP, and I decided to run because I had that passion to help out the youth, and I'm there, and that's what I'm doing. I got very blessed, and I won the race,
And so you were elected 4 years ago, correct?
Exactly. I was 4 years ago. The people from the north side elected me. They gave me that honor to wear the rope and to take care of the court on the JP4 area.
Well, congratulations. And you've done an excellent job, because this time around you went unopposed.
Yes. First of all, I just want to thank the Lord, for blessing me and my family, of course, my friends, and the constituents for Precinct 4 for supporting me and allowing me to serve another 4 years for them.
Yeah, and people there have faith towards that. When you see somebody that goes unopposed, that means that you have the trust of the community, and that shows a lot.
Well, like I said, I've been blessed in the sense that once I took over as a Justice of the Peace, I wanted to implement new things, because, as you well know, the judge that was there had been there for 25 years and served the community very well. So it was some hard shoes to fill, of course, but I had my own ideas of implementing things there, and I think I have done that this last 4 years. One of the things that I was looking for, and I started, was a night court, which I feel that will eventually, in the long run, will help out the people, so they don't have to go during the day and miss work to go pay a ticket. So I have night court once a month. I also have my schedule from Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, we close until 6 o'clock. So I still giving the constituents another hour after 5 to go by and take care of the tickets or make arrangements to whatever, it's there. So I did that. I also, was looking at, I mentioned in my platform that I was going to be looking for a grant because like I said, my passion is the kids and having them get the education that they must get to otherwise to be the better future for them and for tomorrow, obviously. So what I did, I also I went to the judicial system to my training, and somehow I was able to make a grant, apply for a grant, and I want to thank Sheriff Martin Cueva for actually allowing his grant writer do the grant for me, and I was very blessed again. Paul, I got the grant from the governor's office, and it's a grant for a case manager that has to deal with the kids, and that's something that I was looking for, and so I got it, and then for the last 3 years, I have had a case manager in my office free, and the governor is paying for that position, and so far, I guess I have saved the county about $150,000 just in that position itself. Sure. And this year, we're still applying for it again. So hopefully we get it again. That case manager has done a tremendous job. Her name is Brianna Science. And obviously, she works very closely with the kids and the truancy.
True. That's a problem. Is it? When we were growing up, it was a different time. You got paddled at that time. We had, and they send you on your way. Now truancy. What are the laws that have changed with truancy? What has happened with truancy now?
Well, one of the biggest things that happened, it used to be like in the criminal side of truancy. Used to be in the criminal side where you can send them to jail and do other things. Now it's more of on the civil side. And there's only we're limited to what we can do, but I think working together with the United Independent School District, which I work very closely with them, and let me tell you, United Independent School District has a lot of preventive measures before they even get to my court. So they're doing a fantastic job, compared to other high schools and, like San Antonio or Corpus. I think Laredo is United Independent School District as well as LISD are doing a great job, as far as truancy is concerned.
I have to agree with you on that. UISD, United Independent School District, has overpassed a lot of areas in the United States. They're ahead of the ball game in a lot of things, especially in security as well, and it's one of the most secure school
campuses
districts in the whole country. And I know the trustees are doing a great job. They're doing a tremendous job because now you have everybody with one concern. It's the kids. It's the kids' education. It's the kids' safety. It's how can I say, not everybody knows that, but they're working very hard to maintain that status. And it's showing.
Oh, definitely.
And it's showing.
Definitely. My hat's off to the attendant officers that work the United area, United
Sure.
Independent District, because they do a lot of hard work. They have to file cases in my court, and there's a lot of paperwork involved. But I think they're out there to do the best they can. And I got to give credit to two attendant officers that are always in my court, which is Mr. Reese and Mr. Chapa. And, they have the big school, which is United High School. And definitely they're always there trying to make a difference for the youth of Laredo. And to me, that, means a lot to me because I know that they're doing their job and they're trying to get these kids to go to school.
And that concern. I have a lot of parents that are worried. Or when a parent gets notified that the kid has been missing school, what are the steps? What happens to them, especially in your courtroom? What's going on with that?
Well, one thing that I also implemented. I have two programs, Paul, in my court. The first program was implemented by the judge Oscar Martinez.
Sure.
And it was called the REAL program, and that's an 8-week program, but it's like a mandatory after you go to my court. And one of the things that I did was I implemented another program called TRIP, and it's, truancy reduction, intervention, and prevention. And what we do in that program, it's completely, the parents have to actually come to us and after they miss like 4 or 5 days, in school, the parents can come to us, and it's in a voluntary basis, okay? But the parents want the help sometimes with their kids, so they come to us. So we do that, and we have a 4-week course, what we call a 4-week course. And interesting enough, let me tell you, we do a lot of counseling for the kids, as well as to the parents, And just to give you some of the agencies that work with us, like Pillards, we have SCAN, we have the Webb County Sheriff's Office, we have the Constable's Office. We also, have, of course, United Independent School District, and we have the Webb County Attorney, And, the Webb County Attorney talks to the kids, talks to the parents, let them know what are the consequences if they don't go to school, And I think it's important that we deliver that message to all the parents and the kids,
Sure. Sure. You're absolutely correct, because when everybody's working together, you have a better community. I don't see, like in years ago, you had the school district working here, the judge working on this side, you had the county attorney, everybody was trying to do something, but everybody was spread out. Now everybody's focused together, and everybody's using their forces to combat that. And
Sure.
that to me is great news. That to me is also beautiful to see that everybody, all the different agencies are coming together as one. There's no egos anymore. Understand what I'm saying?
Right. You got to be united. Like I tell the parents and everything, it's not only the judge that can make a difference. It's about us. And when you're talking about us, you're talking about all the different agencies. We're talking about the parents. We're talking about the counselors from United High School, the attendant officers. In a united, if we get united like this way, there's no doubt in my mind that we will make a difference. You just mentioned the fact that before they were all spread out, and now that we're coming together, I think it's making a difference.
Sure,
Paul.
and you see that. What is the percentage-wise? Has it diminished actually?
Oh, definitely. I don't know exactly the percentage, but I can tell you right now that for the amount of people that go to United Independent School District, the students there, the population there, it's a very small percentage of people that go into truancy. But nonetheless, we need to work with that percentage that's low.
Sure. A lot of folks don't understand, and they don't know you from the past. But Judge Salinas was one of the top kick punchers here in Laredo for a very long time, and just like another great kick punch fighter, who also became Justice of the Peace, Corbin up in Tarrant County. Let's talk a little bit about those days when you were training.
Well, I started training when I was about, actually kind of late, because it was like I finished football at 18, and then I started training karate. But I loved karate. It just shows you a lot of discipline, responsibility, and all that is builds up a character. And so I enjoyed teaching the kids martial arts, of course. And going to tournaments, fighting in the tournaments and doing katas and all that, forms and stuff. It's something that's part of my life, that will always be there.
Sure.
And of course, I encourage everybody to take martial arts. I'll be honest with you. And there's so many people right now, instructors right now that are teaching martial arts that are friends of mine. Now their sons are teaching. So it's... But yes, definitely, Paul. I know you have a school. You have a terrific school. I've been to your school, and your discipline and your responsibility and what you do there in that school is terrific. And I think that would help the kids out there. So anybody out there that needs their kids for this summer, now this summer's coming along, put them in the martial arts.
I tell that to parents. You want to prevent your kid from getting bullied, stick them in a martial arts school.
Yeah,
they'll be, not because of the defensive ways, but they're going to be building their self-esteem and self-confidence. And that's what little predators, bully predators are after. When they see a person that has low self-esteem, low character, bowing his head, that's what they're going to go after. So when you have a kid that has not an attitude, but has confidence, he produces it, and he shows it, and many folks are going to shy away from that. Not necessarily the fighting aspect of it, but the self-character building of the martial arts. That's what all kids need. And
I think you just mentioned the confidence that they have is unbelievable once they take martial arts,
Sure.
and not only that for health-wise it's good for them, and so that I encourage a lot of people, a lot of my friends that have kids, that if they have a chance to in the summer to enroll them in martial arts, either to your school, any other school out there.
Anywhere.
There's so many schools out there that can make a difference in the way that the kids are going to go in their lives.
Sure. And let's touch base on the fighters back then. Who was your favorite fighter back then? Who were the ones that you saw? Because you were back there with I remember, 'cause I was much younger. I used to see you all were the ones that were above us in fighting, and I used to see you guys. And at that time, you had Demetrius, the Greek Havanas.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of great fighters. Of course, my instructor, Sal Narvaez,
he did great.
He's got to want to be one of my favorites. He taught me a lot, and we traveled a lot. We saw a lot of different, went to different places, California, Houston,
Sure.
Mexico,
Sure.
and we had a great time, and at the same time, I guess one of my favorite fighters also would be Raymond McCulloch.
Oh, sure, Raymond McCulloch.
And Roy Corbin,
Corbin.
by all means, and he also happened to be a JP at one time.
Sure.
I don't know if he still is, but
the last time I saw Corbin, he was a JP. He was in Tarrant County, in Arlington area, over that area.
Yeah.
That's what he was under, and it was interesting, because it's interesting to see, because now you have two JPs that were kick punch guys, and that's interesting, because you see the things from a different view, especially with kids, kind of straighten them up a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's good.
And we love martial arts. I mean, I love martial arts, and like I said, but the discipline, that goes along with it, the respect, we show them respect to respect everybody, and to have the discipline to get up, to go to practice, and the same thing, that discipline goes into disciplining in doing your homework
and studying
and
so
studying
on,
and all that.
And that's what you basically
so
want to build.
That's why I definitely tell the parents, enroll your kids to martial arts, have them try it out, and you will see a difference in the way they'll act also in school.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's by no way. Now what other cases, changing back to the court, what other cases do you see in your court?
Well, Paul, some of the cases that have a lot of different, have a small claim that what they do,
Sure.
somebody owes you something, and you want to put in a small claim. Anything under $10,000, you can go to my court, and we can
Contest it.
Instruct you how to do it, and how to fill out the paperwork, and that way we can bring the individual to court and find out what's going on as far as the debt is concerned. We also have peace bonds.
Sure.
People sometimes they're harassing other people. Usually it might be a divorce case or a girlfriend boyfriend type of deal, where the girl doesn't want him to be bothering her no more, and he's getting out of line, out of hand. We take care of that. We bring him in and we put a peace bond, so where there's certain restrictions that we put him in place, so he won't bother that person again.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. And we take care of those too, because there's an age bracket. The young girls are brought in by their parents to take care of themselves. Then you have, like I say, the 25 to 35-year woman, and that's usually why she enters martial arts, because of something that occurred,
Right.
either a stalking incident or a threatening incident or something to that nature, and drives them into the martial arts. And let's talk a little bit on how can you have a young lady that's being harassed. What are the steps she needs to take?
Well, in something like that, usually you by at one point you have a police report. If you do have a police report, if it's enough as a harassment, they can always go to the DA's office, and so they can take a look at if there's enough elements there to put a harassment charge. But if not, if it's an incident report where they call, this individual is coming to my house and he's still bothering me. I don't want him to bother me, but nothing physical or anything has been done. Well, she can always go to my court and she fills the right paperwork. And what we do, we have to serve the individual so he can come in front of me. And then we can look at the whole problem, see what exactly happened and what is he doing wrong, And if there's enough grounds for me to put a peace bond, I'll put a peace bond on the individual and let him know that the peace bond is only to keep him away from that individual. And at the same time, it works. Sometimes it works both ways, Paul.
Sure.
The girl has to also follow the rules as I put them down to the individual, because it's sometimes it's a two-way street here.
Sure.
And sometimes we have to put peace bond on both of them, where I'll make sure that neither one breaks the rules, neither one calls by phone, use texting, especially Facebook nowadays gets people out in trouble. So I tell them to stay away from Facebook, stay away from texting or calling or going by. If they happen to be in a restaurant, whoever's there first stays, the other one leaves. And then at the mall, for sure, you're going to see them go in different directions. So basically what we try to do is have peace among them.
But, Judge, there's also a protection order, right?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Well, the protection, you would have to deal with that with the DA's office.
Okay.
The DA's office does the protection order. There's a different order, and they're the ones that handle that. It's a little bit more strict, but basically depending on the case, and that's how we handle that.
Let's say a person that has a peace bond breaks it. What are the steps after that?
Well, he comes back to my court, basically. She'll come back and we'll come back to my court. There is a fine that I can give him.
Okay.
And if it gets to the point that he needs to go in, she can go to the DA's office and file a harassment charge, But basically, once they go to my court, I think about 90% of people realize, once I talk to them, they realize that they got to go in different directions. Very well that once you put somebody in court, people start to respect because they know the consequences later on. And like I tell them, sometimes it's a point where you have to go in different direction and worry about yourself, because otherwise you're going to have other consequences that there's no need for that.
And it's true. If you have a law-abiding citizen, he's going to follow the mandate of that order. If you don't, then there's nothing you can do about
exactly.
That. You know what I'm saying? So,
he'll go to the other level. He'll go
sure.
to the other level, and he'll probably be arrested.
Yeah.
But if it's an emotional type of deal or relationship where you break up, and I think once they go to court and once they see me, once I talk to both of them and make them realize that it already got to this point, and from here on, I'm going to give them certain criteria that they got to follow, and you better stop there.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. What other types of cases do you see?
Well, I also see eviction cases. The north side has grown so much, Paul, that, we have a lot of condos, we have a lot of apartments. Of course, people not always pay the rent.
Sure.
And it becomes now it's a problem, and people come to my court because they don't want to get out. They don't want to pay, and they don't want to get out of the apartment.
Sure.
So they come to my court, and there's a process to it, and we follow the process. And once they come to my court, they got by the time they come to my court, Paul, they already had like 20 days, and they had enough time to really get out and make some type of arrangements.
Sure.
But once they come to my court, basically I give them another 6 days. It's not 30 days. People still think that it's 30 days or whatever. No, once you come to my court, it's 6 days, and you need to get out by 5 o'clock on the 6th day. Now, if you don't get out, then the person comes back and files a writ of possession. So that writ of possession is then the constables give you another 24 hours, and then they're going to go and they're going to just take you out completely.
Sure.
So, but by then, most people already know that they need to move on. Most people, they get into some financial situations, and I understand that. Like I tell them, Paul, everybody goes through financial
Sure.
problems at one point or another, and it's understandable, but you have to understand that the person there renting needs to pay also
Sure.
the bill of the apartments, and they probably have a note, and they have to pay, and they cannot just give you free rent, But in a very nice way, in a very professional way, I do it. I tell them, it's, that doesn't define you because you're late. You probably were in some financial problem, but hopefully in the future you'll get better.
Yeah. And sometimes there's arrangements they can do and stuff like that if they wish.
Oh, definitely. The landlord has the ultimate power to do that.
Sure.
A lot of times they'll come to my court and they already have the rent that they need, and sometimes the landlord just keeps them,
Mm-hmm.
keeps the same tenant.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. What else do you see? What else do you
Well,
foresee?
another thing that I did, I also implemented and I encouraged, Paul, was that my civil clerks and my traffic clerks, I send them to get certified by the state of Texas. They took a state exam, they passed it, so they're very knowledgeable in what we're doing. We're not perfect, but I can tell you that they do know a lot because they did pass the state exam, and that's given by the state. So I encourage them to do that because I want to make sure that Precinct 4, the people from Precinct 4, get the best service that they can get.
Right. In your district, a lot of folks out there might know, a lot of them might not know, what are your boundaries? It's from what to what and all the way out.
Well, I anything from I don't know exactly the complete boundary, but I know anything from Del Mar going north, Mines Road, it's pretty much my area.
It's kind of like Mines Road.
Yeah,
Del
and
Mar,
it cuts.
that one,
Yeah, and it cuts to Mines Road, Callahan, Los Botines, and all that. All 35. Another thing that I did, Paul, is for the transportation people, because I get a lot of people
With
that
tickets.
The majority of the transportation people, tickets from DPS come to my office. And one of the things I did was make a seminar with DPS so we can educate the owners of the transportation trucks, what type of permits they need to be overweight, why are they getting the ticket, and what do they need to do to better their trucking business. And we've been doing that for the last 3 years. I want to thank DPS office for helping me out there. They do that every year. We educate the people. We want, basically what my court and DPS want is to have safe trucks out there
Sure.
driving. And because of this seminar, we've been able to make a difference in as far as the transportation people are looking at things when they get a ticket.
Sure. And in your area, a lot of folks don't understand. In your area, you have most of the warehouses for the import-export. You have a lot of the trucking business that's actually situated in your district, in your area.
Oh, definitely. We have a whole bunch of warehouses, and like I said, the transportation business. There's 14,000 trucks that pass through to the bridge every day. So Do we have a share of tickets coming in? Definitely. Can we make our highways safer by having seminars and doing that? Definitely.
Sure.
So that's what I'm doing in that area.
When you educate the community kind of flows better. When you have folks that do not want to learn, that's when you have a lot of stumbling blocks. But when you start producing and telling the people out there, this is what's changing, this is what's out there, please come to this. People start to listen, start to pay attention, and it only makes for a better living environment.
Well, in my area, we have to be aware that there's a lot of trucks out there, and we want to make sure that those trucks are in good condition and that they're safe to drive. And I think DPS is doing a fantastic job out there and trying to keep accidents from happening. Because the truck is not in good condition. They're very strict, and we look at all the angles, especially brakes, extinguishers, tickets that we have, all type of tickets that we have. Overweight is one of the biggest problems, and we look at it very closely, and they get fined for that. And the distribution of merchandise inside the trailer is something very important.
Sure, because of course, all that. What else? What else do you have planned for the next 4 years?
Well, I never stop thinking of what I'm going to do, but I'm glad you're asking me that because I'm already looking at, another thing that I do a lot is that when I came in, the attorneys used to be, we used to have the cases in the morning, but the attorneys also had cases at the county court of law, had cases in federal, had cases in district court. So what I did is I changed, if I have an attorneys on a particular small claim case, I'll put it in the afternoon so he can do his business in the morning and we can take care of him in the afternoon. That has made a big difference there, where I'm closing more cases faster than just giving them a continuance in the morning. Because if they have to go to a higher court, it's an automatic, you have to give them a continuance or reset the case.
And it wastes time, it wastes all the
wastes time, wastes everything. And so one thing that I'm doing that I'm working on right now, I'm trying to go paperless, Paul, and we have a lot of paper. So I'm trying to go paperless maybe I'm thinking by the end of this year, next year, I should be ready. I want to thank the Commissioner's Court for allowing me to get from the technology account some scanners and a couple of computers that are going to be able to do that. I do want to have my court one of the best JP courts in the state of Texas. Now, I happen to go to one. That's why I'm telling you, Wilson County has the best technology out there for GP courts, and I just want to be right behind him. Make sure that we follow those steps. I think we need to. We need to get rid of a lot of paperwork if we can, go paperless. And my girls are working very hard toward that. And like I said, I want to thank the Commissioner's Court for allowing me to buy this equipment because the GP court has what you call a technology account that comes from my court. Actually, it doesn't bother the Commissioner's Court money. In other words, it comes from my court. So they're allowing me, they have to give me the blessing regardless of what I'm going to buy, as long as it's justifiable.
Sure.
So I already did that, and I'm working toward going paperless. I also want to do e-filing. It's not mandatory by the state of Texas right now, the e-filing. And the e-filing is I want them to make sure that the people, the constituents, and also the attorneys don't have to go to my office. Actually, in the near future, they're going to be filing, online, and that's going to be a big difference for, of course, the attorneys and the constituents. And I'm going to provide some computers out there if the people can go and file whatever they need to file there, or they can do it from their home.
Yeah, those are steps that are going to be alleviating time. And a lot of people say time is money, and that's absolutely correct. You have to alleviate time and make things. Of course, you know, you have to go before court. You have to set that time there. But if you can, how can I chip away that?
Yeah.
And make it a lot easier for everybody.
Well,
People are gonna, you know.
They're gonna appreciate that, you know. And the thing is that, you know, you're talking about a court that needs to provide service, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to provide the best service for the people for Precinct 4.
Yeah.
You know, and by doing all this, by no means, I know, there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, we're going to give that service. It'll be one of the few JP courts that are going to be doing that.
Sure. That's awesome. And Laredo has all the potential, Webb County has all the potential to get up there.
Definitely.
And,
you know,
I mean,
we
have the biggest land port. We have a lot of stuff going through here. And I think the energy that I see with people running, people like you, people that are trying to push forward, being progressive in the future, you know, they're looking not for today, they're looking 10 years from now, 15 years from now, because that's basically the ultimate goal.
Definitely. You know, I want to make sure that my court is one of the best. Like I told you, Paul, I want them to be one of the best court in the state of Texas at one point. And I'm working at it. And like I said, in the future, we'll be there.
Yeah, well, we will. We will have faith. And that's why you didn't have anybody running against you, because people have faith in you.
Thank you.
And you've done a good job, and keep well at it, and keep on pushing forward. There's a lot of obstacles, and I think you're just battling right through them.
Well,
and
that's what I'm trying to do, you know.
And they say the best competition is yourself, so you have to always compete against yourself to be better, and you're showing that.
Thank you, Bo.
And anything else to the constituents out there?
Well, I just want to tell the constituents, thank you for allowing me to, you know, wear this robe for the next 4 years, and also you will see a difference that my court will be at one point the best court in the state of Texas.
Well,
that's my goal.
We will be. We will be.
All right.
All right, folks. Remember, if you want to listen to us and you don't have Facebook, you can check us out on Border Indie application. Download it. You can also go to YouTube under Buitrón Academy. We're all there. They've all been saved. And again, it was a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
For you guys, until next time, peace.